Bella Salon and Day Spa, located at 41 West Main Street in Northeast Pennsylvania, proudly supports Chautauqua Sunrise and its volunteers. More information at bellasalonanddayspa.net. Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. From the Access Channel 5 studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Channel 5. Continuing the traditions of Senior Report, we are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week, countywide, from 9 to 10 a.m. Join us by calling in live, emailing us, or checking out our social media. And now, from the Channel 5 studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm Doc Hamels, and welcome to Chautauqua Sunrise. Hope you're having a great day and that you have activities planned that maybe are indoors and not necessarily outdoors. You know, we work all week, and it's hot and muggy and warm, and then the weekend comes and it's rainy and cool. What are we going to do? Well, anyways, we're here, and we got a great show in store for you, and we got lots of things to show you and talk about, so please stay tuned, because this is going to be something I think you're going to really enjoy. I don't know about you, but I had to put pontoons on my garden tractor to get the lawn cut this week. I'm not exactly sure. I checked with a lot of people from all over the county, and we were all under the same conditions. I didn't think it rained that much, but I walked across the lawn with Max, my dog, and we were squashing, and the water was just pushing up from the ground. So finally it got to the point where I could cut it, but yow, the grass was like a half a foot high, and I'd already cut it once this year. So hopefully you got your lawns cut in the nick of time before the weekend, or you're just going to have to hay it next week, one way or the other. All right, well, you know, I've been asking around. Justin, did I get anything from England, like invitation or anything here? No? You would have thought that they would have thought enough of the show here that we would have been invited to cover the wedding today, but all right, we're just going to have to work a little harder for next time. Well, I watched part of the proceedings at the wedding, and it was pretty spectacular. I mean, when you just look at all the architecture and all the embroidery and the things that were hanging from the ceilings and all the what? Decorations. There you go, decorations. Thank you. I have people to fill in words for me when I get stuck. Just the dresses and the hats, and just wow, it's just something you just don't see every day, and it was pretty spectacular. So pretty cool. So if you get a chance to catch some of that, kind of interesting. But you know, the best part is I love Harry. I think he's just a cool guy. I'd love to have him on my show. I think we'd have a great time. Okay. Moving right along, I just want to give a shout out to my friends over at LSS, formerly known as Lutheran Social Services. We played for the folks yesterday, and we had a great time. And as always, Glad to play some music for you. And of course, our friends over at the Wine Cellar last night, we had a great time, and Will, my partner, was in good form. He was really wailing on the guitar, and we're going to be back there next month. But anyways, so hi to everybody that came out for that. Want to remind everybody that are listening to us Tuesdays, 1 o'clock, good afternoon, on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people. So glad you could join us. And because the nature of today's show, we're going to try to be very descriptive as we go along, because we're going to be talking about things that you can't necessarily see, but we're going to try our best to make them come alive for you on the radio. As always, if you have a question, a comment, you want to share something that is on your mind or something pertains to my guest or myself, give us a call here at 753-5225. You can email us, you can come by the studio, drop off a question. If you're shy, they'll take your question, they'll somehow get it over to me, because I do have an earpiece, and they will let me know what your question is. But please, this show is for you. This isn't all about me or anything like that. This is about communicating some really good stuff here in Chautauqua County, as we do every Saturday morning here at Access Chautauqua. Is that what we're called now? And for those of you that may not know this, I know this seems like a silly statement, because you must know this by now, but please, if your friends can't find us on cable TV, let them know the number. It's 1301, all right? We're not on 5 anymore, so in case you're watching this on YouTube or you're looking at it on Facebook, let your friends know we're at 1301, all right? Don't ask me why. I just share information. Okay, so I got a bunch of community events that I want to share with you. Boy, oh boy, you guys are doing a great job. Chris gave me the papers today. I have 15 pages, but some of them we're going to hold until a little bit later on in the month, because they're more in the middle of the summer, because if I do all the announcements, there won't be any time for my guests. So let's just get right into it. Let's go to Jamestown. My good friends at the Infinity Performing Arts want you to know there's a new student orientation intake session, and this is going to be held May 24th. Let's see. Music, art, dance, theater students at all levels are welcome to enroll in private and group lessons. The Infinity Visual and Performing Arts Center will hold a new student orientation and intake session coming up. If you want more information, give them a call at 664-0991 to register for a session and reserve your spot today. I've been there when they do this, and it's really nice, because the kids get a chance to try out instruments, talk to the instructors and so forth. And what a great opportunity for these guys to explore some passion and things that they don't normally get to see. Okay, really cool. They also, at the Infinity, want to let the local musicians know that there's a call for folks to register for the Infinity's 15th Annual Local Music Showcase, otherwise known as the LMS. And that's going to be held September 8th. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this early, because it's filling up and they want people to sign up for that. So if you're interested, go to their website, infinityperformingarts.org, and register. I think this will be my 6th or 7th year performing for it. It's really a great time. We'll talk more about that later. Okay, let's go on to slide 16, Jeff. Wine with Us Wednesdays. Okay? It's going to be held at the Great Discovery Center, and I'm going to talk about this just about every week. It's going to be held in the tasting room or out on the patio. It starts at 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock every single Wednesday. Come down and just enjoy the scenery and sitting in the middle of a vineyard, really. If you've never been to the Discovery Center, it's absolutely gorgeous in there. It's educational, it's recreational, and there's things that you can purchase and things like that. And on a personal note, Will and I are performing there on the 2nd and 4th Wednesdays of May, June, and July from 5 to 7. So join us. Either we'll be out on the patio or we're going to be inside playing. Okay, moving right along. Today, and only today, the chicken barbecue and annual auction for my home Rotary Club, Westfield Mayville Rotary, is going to be held at Easton Hall today at 5 o'clock. And there's going to be a chicken barbecue. Tickets are $12. And I think it's just about too late to buy tickets. I think they're pretty well sold out. But anyways, as a reminder, if you have tickets, it's today. And Dave Brown is going to be our auctioneer. And Dave and I have a lot of fun. We bounce off each other. And I'll be emceeing the event. And that's going to be held today at Easton Hall starting at 5 o'clock. All the proceeds, of course, go right back into the community, and we support all kinds of programs through our Rotary. All right, today only, once again, the county museums and historical societies are having an open house today. Local residents and visitors are encouraged to learn more about local history by participating in the first ever countywide Museum and Historical Society Open House Day today. The event is being presented by the Chautauqua County Museum Consortium, which is comprised of nearly 24 different organizations and historical groups throughout the county. All right, so most of them are open from 10 to 3. I would check at the various venues that you may want to go to. That is free. Some of them are participating, but quite a few of them are. So today's the day. Go to your museums and local historical places and check it out. I visit ours all the time. Okay, moving right along. Rolling Hills Radio. Robin and Linda Williams were going to be the featured musicians at Rolling Hills Radio. On May 21, coming up, Rolling Hills Radio will present Robin and Linda Williams, musicians who are internationally known for their harmony, singing, and songwriting talents. The show will be recorded live for radio and television at Shawbucks in downtown Jamestown, New York. Tickets are $20, and you can register in a number of ways. You can get them at the door. You can go on the Chautauqua Chamber of Commerce and buy your tickets there. Show starts at 6:30. There's like a happy hour from 5:30, but once they start the music, the bar closes because they want to feature just the musicians. There will be a meet and greet afterwards. I attended the Tom Paxton concert, and it was a great time. I encourage you to go check it out with my buddy Ken Harley, who MCs that. For more information, give him a call at 484-1101. Okay, this next one is a very interesting one. This is coming from the Center of Resolution and Justice and Erie County Restorative Justice Coalition. They are providing restorative practices training, which is a set of skills used to teach social emotional skills, resolve conflicts, and repair harm. They are used in schools and neighborhoods to strengthen communities and promote safe environments. Restorative practices also can be used as an alternative to zero tolerance and punitive policies in schools and courts. If you're interested, it's $95. It's going to be held on May 24th and 25th, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And for more information, you have to email mediate@cfsbny.org. All right, my friends with the Office for the Aging have their perennial plant sale, and they're going to have it at various locations from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. On May 22nd, it'll be up at Dunkirk at St. John's Church on Central Avenue. The 23rd of May, Mayville outside the HRC building. On May 24, Jamestown Christ First UMC on Buffalo Street. And May 25th, right in Mayville, for last chance buyers. Don't wait, though. They say that sells out really quick. Plants are $3 each, or 4 for $10. And I believe all the proceeds go to the Mac McCoy Fund. For more information, give them a call at 753-4471. Okay, this is a long one, but I'm going to just do the abbreviated form. The 2018 season for the Westfield Farmers and Artisans Market opens is coming May 26th, next Saturday from 9 to 2 p.m. In 2007, Senator Catherine Young's office sponsored a New York State grant which helped them to get started. To help this season, there will be local, county, and state officials on hand to dedicate the 12th year of the market that is held every Saturday in Moore Park. Mayor Van de Velde, Town Supervisor Martha Bills, Chautauqua County Exec George Borello, and County Legislator John Hemmer will be on hand, as well as Andrew Goodell. They'll be speaking at 1 o'clock. What would you expect out of this year's market? Fresh fruits, vegetables, meats, poultry products, baked goods, coffee, craft beer, and wine locally made at area breweries. Entertainment in the gazebo will help create a festive atmosphere. I think I'm playing there in July sometime. Of course, you're going to have all your artists and crafters as well. There's kettle corn, there's salsas, wood crafts, stone and rock art, and home decor, on and on and on. For more information, give Nancy Scriven a call at 269-9726. Okay, let's go back to Jamestown. They're having an art exhibit at the Resource Center, which is called At the Writers' Cup Coffee Shop at 28 Chautauqua Avenue, Lakewood, New York. I'm trying not to laugh here. It's going to be held from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. The art from the Resource Center. It will be on display from May 7th to June 2nd. Check them out. We have budding artists that are over there and just really, really nice stuff. Okay, let's move on here. For your information, the Fredonia Community Chamber of Commerce will hold its annual Attic and Cellar Days the first weekend in June. That'll be June 1 through the 3rd. Sellers can register sales at Pucci's Carpet 1 at 112 West Main Street in Fredonia, or at Sir Prince-A-Lot, 1 Park Place in Fredonia during normal business hours. The cost is $5 to register your sale and be included on the sale map. Each additional line, up to 5 words per line, is an additional $1 per line. With the way I talk, it would be a fortune. If you have questions, please contact Heidi Seaton, Fredonia Community Chamber Coordinator, at 467-4321. Sale maps will be available in the information booth in Barker Commons on sale days. All right, what else we got here? We're jumping around here, Jeff. I'm trimming out a few things here. Let's go to slide 23. Chautauqua Lake Child Care Center Golf Tournament. Just 2 of them I'm going to be talking about here in a second. This is going to be held on June 9th at Chautauqua Point Golf Course. It's a 4-person scramble, $50 per player. Entry fee includes all the following: 18 holes of golf, a cart, a hot dog lunch at the turn, beverages, plus raffle ticket, 50-50 ticket, and entry in skins prize, and a chicken dinner following tournament. If you're interested in participating, give me a call at 753-5851. And again, that's the Chautauqua Lake Child Care Center Golf Tournament. And the 5th annual Charity Golf Classic of the United Way of Northern Chautauqua County and Walmart present their Charity Golf Classic Golf Tournament. Let's see, hang on a minute. This is their 5th annual, and it's going to be held on June 15th at Tri-County Country Club out in Forestville. Registration starts at 11 a.m. Shotgun starts at 1 p.m. Cost per person, $110 per person if registered before 5/11, and pricing after that is $125 per person until the day of the tournament. Includes 18 holes of golf, cart, greens fee, tea, gift, lunch, and dinner. All proceeds benefit the United Way of Northern Chautauqua County and their 13 partners, which impacts over 24 programs. And if you were here last week, we were talking all about that. For more information, give a call at 366-5424. Okay, let's go on to slide 24. WRFA's 2018 Great American Picnic. I love the 80s. That's the theme. Their picnic is going to be held Tuesday, June 26th at 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Southern Tier Brewing Company. And maybe we'll get more stuff on that. But anyways, mark your calendar for June 26th for the WRFA Great American Picnic. All right, let me see what else I got here. I think that's it. I'm tired. I got to take a breather here. Get a drink of water. We're going to have a public service announcement, so stay tuned, and this is for you.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Okay, we're back. You're still watching Chautauqua Sunrise, and we're going to be talking about an art trail. We talked a little bit about it last year, but we decided we're going to have a full-blown show on this. We've got artwork and ceramics and all kinds of cool things and lots of things that we're going to pop up on the screen and we're going to describe for you. So first of all, I just want to welcome back to the show Nancy Nixon Ensign, who's going to talk with us in a moment, and longtime colleague, we were in class together years ago, Marcia Merrins. And we're going to start with Marcia. Marcia, why are you here today?
Why am I here? Well, I am president of the North Shore Arts Alliance, and we are celebrating a decade, 10 years of bringing to this county an art trail. North Shore Arts Alliance was founded in 2007, and so this is our 10th year, because we were just founded in 2007 and had to get organized.
Had to give birth
Got to
first.
give birth to the place. And basically, the North Shore Arts Alliance is a not-for-profit organization that actually is a promotional marketing effort for local artists to promote their work and show their work. And it also creates an environment in Chautauqua County that would bring other people to the area and gives the artists an opportunity to talk about their work, which artists love to do, what inspires them and how they create. Nancy Nixon Ensign, as she did last year, chaired the event, which is not an easy job. So here's Nancy.
Okay. And Nancy, as I said, you were here last year, and so glad you could come back again. We actually scheduled this show a year ago.
We did.
And so here we are. It seems hard to believe a year's already gone by. And tell us a little bit about your involvement with the art trail and what we can look forward to this year.
This is an art trail. We have a few more different artists. We have some new artists this year. There are 20 artists on the trail.
Wow.
So it's an open studio trail and also a gallery hub. So some of us have studios that are outside of the North County area, like myself, Tim Silverstein. And we are set up in a gallery that represents us. So I'll be set up because I have a South County studio at Portage Gallery.
Oh, okay.
So it is, for the most part, it's a chance to go and see where artists create their works, into their studios, into their homes, for the whole weekend over Memorial Day weekend.
Okay, so, and every year it's a Memorial Day weekend. So
It
makes it real easy.
It is. It
That's
makes it very easy
smart.
to remember, and we don't have to change our signage.
There you go.
The other thing is there's about 15 stops and for the 20 artists, and it's very doable in a weekend. So you can do some on Saturday and some on Sunday,
Nice.
and enjoy some of the other things that the county is holding. All the things you listed, there are a
Right.
couple going
You
on
can
that
bounce in
weekend
and
as
out.
well. Yeah.
Go for a chicken barbecue here, do some art over here.
Exactly. So you can go to farmers markets, you can go do the art trail, you can do all kinds of things on that weekend. The most interesting thing is that for the artists that have studios that are accessible, you can talk to the artists and actually see many of them working on their craft, and that's the beauty of it. Oftentimes you can go to exhibitions but not know much about what inspires the artists.
You know, we were talking a little earlier about the fish project, and that's good. It's going on in Westfield and Barcelona area, and I don't want to digress about that, but the whole idea is that when you're working on these projects, it looks easy until you have to work on it. It takes time. So let's talk a little bit about the heart of an artist. Okay, where does the passion come from, and the work involved? Because I don't think people appreciate that.
No, I'm not a painter. Nancy's a painter, and she'll tell you what inspires her, because it's things that she sees that she wants to, almost, in my point of view, when I look at a painting, it's something that the painter wants to remember for life. But I may be wrong about that.
No, you're spot
For
on.
me, it's a different kind of thing. I'm a ceramicist, and I like to play with clay, and I like to use different kinds of firing techniques. So I have a full range, and basically for me, it's an interpretation of something that catches my eye that I want to create. And then, because you're working with a finicky medium, in a way, you have to figure out how to get it to do what you want it to do without cracking or breaking or whatever. So luckily for you and your audience, you have two of the artists that are on the art trail.
This is way cool.
So actually, by the time we finish this interview, they probably wouldn't need to see us, because they'll know everything about what inspires us.
Folks, you've got to, I'm looking at some of your work here. I mean, this is stuff you've got to see up close and personal. I mean, this is way cool, a lot of this stuff. So what about yourself, Nancy, as far as what my question was about?
This whole
passion?
new series, since I moved back to the area, I lived in different cities, and for me, painting in cities were abstracts or they were figuratives, and now that I've moved back to rural Western New York, I find myself being in love with the landscapes. My husband and I do quite a bit of traveling, so this new series that I've done is dedicated to Colorado and Wyoming. So it's abstract paintings and impressions of the time of that we were traveling.
Okay. So you're a full-time painter?
I am. I'm also a curator
A curator?
of the Octagon Gallery, the Patterson Library.
Right, I've been there.
And I'm exhibition chair for the North Shore Arts Alliance. So again, I curate shows and I install them at different venues for our entire membership. And I'm also the curator at the Lakeshore Center for the Arts. So I know. So I install artwork there, I choose artists, those are 3-month shows, and continue to promote public awareness of great art in their areas.
I got the feeling years ago the Chautauqua County is brimming full of artists,
Oh, yeah.
musicians,
Yeah.
poets, writers. Why is that? Is it because of Chautauqua Institution? Is it the school system? Is it a little bit of everything? What do you think? I mean, I get
I
goosebumps when I listen to all this stuff.
Well, my thought is that it's not a large metropolitan area, so you have the opportunity to perform or promote yourself in local galleries. If you lived in New York City, where would you go?
Yeah, you get lost.
I think other areas have as many artists and musicians, but I think it's just diluted in the numbers in the population. And I'm from the city, and I found that when I moved to Chautauqua County, I could make a difference. One person can make a difference.
I
One
agree.
person can be heard and seen and enhance the community they lived in. And that's very hard to do in New York City for one person.
Yeah.
So I think if you lived in the city, you would have a hard time promoting yourself as a musician
Right.
and getting into bars and
Yeah.
restaurants and other performance venues. So I think that's the difference. So I found my voice in Chautauqua County. I think that's a wonderful thing about growing up in a small, for my kids growing up in a small community, they found their voice way early. So.
Nancy, why'd you come back? I mean, you went off
Ooh,
like so many
yeah,
people want to
22
go,
years.
make their whatever name in the world, or
Yeah.
because they want to go to the Sun Belt. I'm not sure where all you went.
Yeah, I was in New York City, I was in Cleveland, I was in Orlando, Tampa, Rochester. I came back to spend some time with my mom before I went to the Ukraine through the Peace Corps to study Byzantine iconography, which is what I was doing in New York City, and I had a set design company there. And so I came back for a visit and leave some things, and then I became ill, and I failed the Peace Corps medical exam. So I stayed. I stayed, and then I found love and got married, and really stayed. And I love being back here. I mean, for me, my mom died 2 years ago, but for me, it's back to my ancestral roots. I mean, it's really very special and very dear to me.
It's a great place.
And a lot of my paintings also on this year's trail are dedicated to Chautauqua Ridge, some of the vineyards. Our Grape Discovery Center is backed by my family's ancestral vineyards from 1868.
Oh, wow. I didn't
So,
realize that.
yep, that
They're
Gary
all
Young,
around it?
Gary Young now owns our vineyards.
I know
So
Gary,
it's
yeah.
so it's very special and dear to me, and I fell in love with a man that we rode the school bus together when we were young.
cool. Very
So it's reconnecting with this area. It's lovely.
And that's what I talk about a lot on my show here, is that this is a wonderful place to live,
It is.
to raise your families. And I know more and more I talk to folks that are coming back and coming back.
Absolutely.
And I say, why are you coming back? And they said, we didn't realize how good we had it when we were here.
Yeah,
You
it's
know, all
magnetic.
that.
And that's one of the art trail, getting back to the art trail, that's one reason to be here. Because this is the type of thing that makes a community desirable. Having the artistic presence and that's alive and well and vital and functioning in a community is what makes it desirable for people to live here. It broadens it. So you just don't come here for a job, and that's why these people are coming back. They're not coming back for a job. They're coming back because the richness of the area in terms of the arts, music,
Lifestyle.
and visual art is just and performing art is just wonderful. So I think this is a great place to be forever.
Forever
you know,
place.
Forever place.
You know, I grew up in Buffalo, and I still love the city, but when I was a kid, I always felt like I wasn't in the right place. I kept saying to my dad, "Are you sure I'm supposed to be here?" I mean, I really had these conversations because I was always going towards wherever there were trees, or I was always in a tree of some place, or going camping with Boy Scouts. And when I got the opportunity to work in this county, it was like I'm home. I was, this is where I belong.
Yeah,
I've been here forever. So, hey, you've got some pieces of work here, and I don't want to spend time talking about whatever. I want to talk about what you got here. So who wants to start? Well, let's go back to your drawing, or excuse me, your painting, not your drawing.
Okay.
Your painting, and let's talk about what this is and what it represents in your mind. And because I've been to Colorado and that, and I get a little feel for this already. So go ahead.
Oh, lovely. Many of my scenes are dedicated and done in an abstract presentation for my works. I want the viewers, the patrons, to wonder. I don't want it to be so realistic that they can't have imaginings of their own. And I want them to connect also with the colors. So I have different palettes each year. I'm using a lot of yellows. But this is an abstract representation of a sunset in Casper, Wyoming. And it just was, with the exception that I don't have any prairie dogs in here, which are plentiful. But it's falling in love with the areas. And this is this is painted in acrylics with a palette knife and some brushwork.
You didn't tell me anything about this painting, but you did say the general region, and right in this area here made me think of when I'm in Colorado, especially. I can't remember the actual mountain, but it looks very similar to that, and so you drew me right back into those.
Did I?
Yeah,
Oh,
Castle
that's
Rock. I think it's called Castle Rock, up along Route 25. My son lives in Colorado Springs, and so I would be on the highway, and I would be looking at the mountain ranges and the Garden of the Gods and all that sort of thing. So thank you.
Takes
for
forever
sharing.
to get there, but once you're there,
Once you're
it's
there,
just magnificent.
wonderful. All right. So, Marcia, you've got a slew of things here.
Yeah,
So
because
let's-
I kind of get excited about different things. But let me start with what I started with. So when, in my retirement, I guess, some friend wanted me to take a pottery class. And I was resistant because I was so busy with other volunteer things. But anyhow, I said, all right, this one more thing you'll learn in your lifetime and can talk about. So I started to work on a wheel at Mudslingers in Fredonia. And when you create a bowl on a wheel, and as you finish the bowl, there's a little ring on the bottom. You know your cereal bowl has that ring? And that's called the foot.
Oh, I learned something new.
So that's called the foot of the bowl. And then I said, okay, maybe and you try to be different. Everybody who takes pottery makes a round bowl. And then I'm trying to figure out, well, maybe I'll take the foot of the bowl and actually make it a foot. So I started to make a bowl with little feet. And the foot just started to tip over like somebody on a bench from Laughing. Remember Laughing?
Yes,
when the
yes,
guy fell
yes,
off the
yes,
bench?
yes.
So they would just tip over because there wasn't enough foot. So then I had to make the feet bigger. And then I had to make the legs longer. And then eventually I had to dress them because it looked ridiculous.
Of course, of course.
So dressing then became kind of fun. Like this is a preppy guy with white bucks and an Izod
Kind of
shirt.
reminds me of Pat Boone.
Exactly, that's Pat Boone.
For my dad.
And then so once I got that going, then I kind of ran with it. So there's Dorothy and Toto, And I will be at the Chautauqua Institute for their Craft Alliance, and so I have a footed bowl that has a Chautauqua pillow on it, and practical shoes, right, comfortable shoes for Chautauqua. So those are my uniqueness that has gotten me into shows and have gotten awards, these pieces, because they're so unusual and nobody does them. And I have to tell you, it was created over a process of years in terms of getting the right balance and how to dress them and how to get the clay to stay and how to prevent it from cracking. Each one of these are made from a lump of clay, from a bag, half a bag of clay. So I have to, none of it is molded. All of that is sculpted. And so it takes about 3 hours just to create out of wet clay. And then, because the foot is solid and the legs are solid, it takes about 2 weeks for it to air dry.
Okay.
And then it goes into the kiln, and it's all the moisture is baked out of it. And so that's called bisquing. And then I put glaze on it by hand with 3 coats. So each little thing is brushed on 3 coats, and then it's fired again.
They're pretty spectacular from
So
my point of view here. They're really
they
nice.
are, some people think I actually bought the shoes.
Baby
Well,
shoes.
they do.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
They look real.
So those are I make those and I smile. And the other thing I do is I could make one of you, if you wanted one, with a blue shirt, dark jacket. He's wearing jeans and sneakers.
Thank you for sharing that. Someday I'm going to walk in here with like shorts and sandals and wear my sport coat.
Exactly, or your jammy bottoms.
There you go.
So anyhow, I do custom bowls as well.
Very cool.
So those are fun. And then this is another story. I started to create elephants first. And the firing of these, you can see, is a lot different than a regular electric firing. These are called reduction firings, and I don't know if you want me to go around it now to explain the difference.
You got the mic. Go for it.
Okay, so here we go. These are animals that are created out of a certain kind of clay called raku, R-A-K-U clay. The first 2 steps are the same. So I create the creature out of clay, let it air dry, biscuit, glaze it, and the firing is what makes it unique. This and this are raku fired, which
Okay, so we're
means
talking about a bear
and a donkey.
and a donkey.
But I
Okay.
do have elephants that are raku fired, but I brought a soda fired elephant, which I'll explain.
Okay.
So these are heated up in a kiln outdoors with the glaze on. When the kiln is at about 1800 degrees, I put on fireproof gear.
I would pay for a picture of that.
I have
has
one,
one.
which I will
Great.
give. I look like a Martian. I have goggles, a respirator.
Oh my gosh.
I open up the kiln. I have welder's gloves. I take it out with tongs.
Oh my gosh.
It's glowing inside. It actually looks like there's a light bulb inside. They're
Really?
glowing.
Wow.
And I drop it into a metal trash can that has dry leaves.
Okay.
What happens to the leaves? They catch fire. So there's this fire and smoke, and I put a lid on it. The fire uses up the oxygen in the chamber and interacts with the glazes to give this variety of color,
Okay.
which is unpredictable. I have no control over that. It has to do with how long it takes me to get it into that chamber, what the ambient temperature is, what I'm using to catch fire. I said I use leaves, but it could be newspaper or dry grass or straw. And then I wait for it to cool. And then it's covered with soot and it just wash it off and see what I get. I do paint the eyes black because otherwise it would look like a dead animal. It would have gray eyes. So.
Okay, sure.
So these are raku fired, and that's a reduction type of firing. This is soda fired.
All right, this is the elephant.
This
Okay.
is the elephant. This guy has no glaze
What?
Now you're wondering how it got shiny and looks like it has glaze. Aren't you wondering that?
I am wondering it.
Okay, so this is heated up in a wood kiln. So there's a kiln, there's a space for the pieces that are going to be fired that way. It's a community type project. And when the temperature in the kiln reaches, I think it's about the same temperature, they actually spray in sodium carbonate, which is a type of baking soda, like baking soda. And the ash from the wood and the baking soda combine to coat the object. And the coloration is from where the fire is relative to the piece.
Wow.
So that's called soda firing.
I'm not familiar with that technique. The others I am, but not that one.
Yeah,
Wow.
so when you come to my studio, I have different creatures of all of these. Of course, I did a donkey and an elephant for the upcoming political season, so nobody has prejudice one way or the other. And the faces that are here are done the same as the raku. And I'm taking this off to show that the back of
Okay, let's get a close-up on that. I think we can pull in on that so they can have a little look-see. Bring it right in there. Okay, why don't you describe this for our listeners on the radio?
Okay, so this is a process. This is the same raku process. So this is created out of wet clay, bisque fired, and then glazed. Now, the clay is a white glaze, so the face has clear glaze on it. And then I put different kinds of raku glaze on the headdress. So when it's fired and I put it in the trash can, the fire is being used up by the leaves, and there's a lot of carbon in the air. Like when something is in a fire, it turns black. So where I don't have glaze, it turns black.
Okay.
And this is basically unglazed clay that has been in a fire, and so carbon, because it's porous, carbon has gotten into, so if you break this, it would be white inside.
Okay. So what's the inspiration for this piece?
It's very self-promoting. That's exactly it. I wanted something to be able to call people attention to what I do. So I was looking to create some kind, I have pendants, and I also have earrings that are raku fired, and I wear them most of the time, as Nancy will tell you. And then people say, I love that, where did you get that? And that's promotional. I can't walk around with a donkey, I just can't.
So these pieces, I want to describe them for my listeners, because it looks feminine to me, all right?
Oh, yeah.
All right. And it looks like somebody that's either meditating or sleeping or dreaming. Like
It's a serene type face that has, if you look at the assortment, different kinds of headdresses and decoration. And even though they look very much alike, there are subtle differences in the smile and the contours of the face because I'm human.
Just can't get them perfectly the same.
Yeah, and some of them don't even make it, to be shown. I have to say that with pottery, you can't paint over it. It's done.
Right.
With the headdresses, again, to me, I almost get a feeling of Oriental or Nepal or something Dalai Lama-ish kind of.
Yeah, I think so.
very-
It's something that appealed to me. The original face was a mold that I then kind of redo every time. So they're pretty much standard in terms of their size.
Okay, so you're part of the art trail, and where's your studio?
I live in Fredonia, and you would come to my home, which is at 42 Rosalyn, Rosalyn Court. But actually, if you go to our website, which is NorthshoreArtsAlliance.com, you can download a brochure if you haven't seen one. And there's a whole map with all of the artists that are on the art trail.
Okay.
And the map is here. And you will see red signs, big red lawn signs everywhere around.
Right
One is
your
behind
donkey,
me,
right?
actually.
Right, we'll hit that.
But we can talk a little bit more about some of the other artists that
We're
are
gonna
on
do
the
that.
art trail as
Right,
well.
We're going to do that next. Okay, so they can come to your studio as one of the locations, and there's how many others? Did I say?
There are 20 artists and 15 stops. I
Right.
can go through, I think there are some photos,
Yeah,
and
let's-
maybe
let's
when
do
we
that.
go to
There
each
are.
one, I'll tell you where they
Okay,
are
and
located.
Nancy, why don't you jump into
Okay.
and describe
Yeah.
them
I'm
as we
ready.
go. All right, so Jeff, let's just start popping them up. Let's describe what we see and go from there. Okay, just take a second for those
That's
to pop
okay. It's a
right
great,
up. All right, here we go. Oh, there's
Oh, look.
Nancy.
Nancy Ensign to start with. All right. So why don't you describe what we're looking at for
Okay,
everybody?
actually, for those of you that are listening, the painting on the left is the painting that I had previously described.
Right.
And the painting on the right is a Wyoming drive, which there are many hours driving. They're both small pieces. They're 9 by 11s, and of my scenes during the travels.
Now, people are going to ask, obviously, I think this is an obvious question, but I'm going to ask it anyways, is all the artwork that they're going to see, is it for sale?
Of course, it's for sale.
Well, sometimes people just do
No.
exhibition type
absolutely.
things, so.
Yeah, everything
it's
is for
something they can
sale.
bring home
I'm
and-
actually in a tent, so they won't have my studio view, although I did build a studio last year
Mm-hmm.
because I'm so far away. I wanted to it's important to keep the trail very travelable, where it's 22 miles to get from the beginning to the end.
All right.
So I am set up at Portage Hill Gallery, and I'll have a gallery tent, an art tent, and you can see me and 3 other artists.
Very good.
I also want to comment that there'll also be a children's art trail for the first time this year.
Oh, wow.
Which means that several of the artists will have a table designed or an area designed for children to experience
Oh,
a
very
little
cool.
bit. I will have a clay table, and children that come to my studio will have an opportunity to make a pinch pot, which
Okay.
I will then fire for them, and they can come back for it. But I know Denise Williams, Living Glass Gallery, will also have some activities. And there are a lot of artists who will be welcoming children for a scavenger hunt where they can look for special things, and then there's a reward somewhere at the end of the rainbow, I think. So,
Okay. Speaking of, right.
Dorothy, that's
End of the
well, you
rainbow.
heard a lot about me, and I'm at 42 Roslyn Court in Fredonia. There are a lot of artists up in the North County, so you can hop around within a very short distance. Many artists that are on the art trail.
Okay, so
I also want to say that all the artists that are on the art trail, a lot of them are award winners.
Okay. And we've just seen Dorothy with her ruby slippers there and Toto.
Yeah.
And, again, folks, these are much better in person, so you really need to go out and see this artwork rather than just see it on TV here. So let's keep going with more pictures. Okay, Nancy. Oh, I know her.
Ah, Audrey Dolly.
Yes.
Audrey and her husband own Portage Hill Gallery.
Dolly.
Yep. And this is one of her paintings, which is a combination of acrylics with block print, and it's one of her studio views. She's, of course, at Portage Hill Gallery, along with Karen Glosser, Tim Silverson, and myself.
And they're up on 394,
And they're up on
right on the
394.
escarpment.
Yep.
between-
6439 South Portage Road.
There we go,
Yep.
right on between Westfield and Mayville, right on the hill.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, and let's just keep going. Okay.
Rico Chandra is a photographer, and he's showing his work at his business place, which is the Reverie Creamery.
Okay.
And he's on Route 394, 3943, Route 394 in Mayville, right around the corner. So visit him and get some fabulous cheese as well.
It's almost the last stop or the first stop. However
I know.
however you get onto the trail,
Right.
from whichever direction.
Is it my imagination, but is black and white photography coming back? And if so, it's magnificent.
I don't think it ever left.
Well,
I think
because there,
people have always-
color TV and everybody
Right.
was going, but I hadn't really noticed black and white until the last couple of years. And even just stuff I take, while I'm on a trip or whatever, I throw it into like a black
Yeah.
and white or whatever. And
I do.
Wow, that really pops. It's really spectacular, and so on. So okay, great. Ooh,
Jim?
Jim Reno's a potter, but this is a painting.
It is.
And in his studio, you'll find both. He is widely known, not only in Chautauqua County, but in his field as well, for a very unique, almost Picasso-esque
Yeah, I see that.
kind of artistry on his ceramic pieces as well as on canvas.
Okay. And
And that's actually painted on wood. He has about 300 new paintings.
300?
300 new paintings that he's been working on the last few years.
Okay.
And there actually are 90 of them also. After Memorial Day, you can go and see his work at Lakeshore Center for the Arts. He has 90 works over there
Okay,
as well.
for our listeners, we're looking at a human being.
And sort of Amazonian.
Yeah, kind of hard to tell.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Susan. I know Susan.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, this is very different for me. I've seen some of her work, so this is different for me.
Susan McKay is a portraitist mostly, and she recently gave a water acrylic portrait painting class at the Octagon, and what we're looking at is a grandmother kissing a grandchild.
Oh, very tender. Very nice.
And she caught all the nuances of an aging grandmother and a brand new baby. So she has that, even the pearls glow around the neck of the grandmother. It's just, she's an amazing artist. And if you have an opportunity, listeners and viewers, to visit her studio on Water Street, 75 Water Street in Fredonia, you can stop there and really see a major portrait painter.
She's on Eagle Street.
On Eagle Street?
Eagle Street,
Okay,
sorry.
that's all right. We all do that. What I like about this one, and it's reminiscent of my mom, is that that's what my mom would look like if she was at a little gathering. She'd have the earrings and, you know, a string of something, necklace of some sort. In fact, they used to call her Grandma Beads because she was always wearing beads. So I'm sitting here and thinking that looks like my mom with great-granddaughter.
You can even see the lace on the child as
Oh,
well.
it's
Yeah.
beautiful,
Yeah.
absolutely great. And as I said, I've known Susan for a number of years, and
And she's mostly an oil painter.
yeah, that's really nice. Okay, let's keep going. All right, here's another one.
Ronnie Lafferty is a watercolorist, and she is now teaching groups of people this wonderful art. One of her paintings was recently selected for the Buffalo Garden Show to be on their brochures and advertising. I think it's the Buffalo Garden Show. So it's quite an honor. She is an award-winning artist as well.
It looks like
It's her grandson.
That's her grandson. Okay, and just looks like a
And kind of a
walking
fall
in
leaf with
nature,
a-
kind of with a pole or a stick.
Poking at the plants
just
or
having at it. And what's the medium here?
watercolor.
Watercolor. Okay. I'm always amazed when people do watercolor.
She's great control with the watercolor.
I mean,
She's-
you wouldn't think it was just, not just, but I mean, watercolor, I always think of being very washy looking, and this is really
Yeah,
very
it's very strong and
spectacular.
lovely.
Very nice. Okay. And where's she going to be located, did we say?
Ronnie is on Hillcrest, 15 Hillcrest Drive in Fredonia. Again, another Fredonia person. So you can hit Ronnie, and you can hit me, and you can
Okay.
hit Susan, and several other artists.
Okay, let's go back to that one, Jeff. No, the other one, Cynthia
Norton.
That's Cynthia
That's-
Norton. She does wearable fiber. She's a clothing designer, and she's actually in Chautauqua Institution.
Very dramatic. What the viewers are seeing and what the listeners can hear is that it's a black jacket that has almost artwork splashed across it, probably like a tie-dyed turquoise design, which is just absolutely
Very
gorgeous.
stunning.
And
very
yeah,
nice.
in jersey, in a jersey material. Lovely piece.
Now, how did she make that?
She dyes. You can go on the studio tour, but she dyes. This one specifically is a tie-dyed material. So
Okay.
that with tie-dye, there's a rubber banding that you do with that. I don't know if you've ever seen
I've
that
seen it,
done.
yep.
But she also
And then
does
it's
painted.
a dip, and yeah, she also.
Chilosas.
I have 3 of her pieces. I actually wore one on last year's show.
Okay.
So she does a lot of dyeing techniques, and then she, fabricates them into beautiful clothing
And so,
pieces.
okay, and she's going to be located at the institution on the trail?
She's on Whittier Avenue.
Okay, wow. I wasn't sure if I was looking at photo art or if
Right,
that, and,
right,
I mean, when you see that, that looks
Yeah.
like somebody was a photographer,
Yeah,
but it's
absolutely.
actually it's the wearable art. That's
Yeah.
really nice. Whoa, look at this one.
Karen Glosser, that's Lake Erie. She does quite a bit of her work. She's a photographer, is dedicated to bodies of water. This is
This is a
specifically
photograph?
of Lake Erie. And she has a camera that goes underwater, so she can put herself and or camera within the water and have these, she catches these amazing shots.
All right.
She's actually set up at Portage Hill Gallery also.
This one's a little tricky to describe because it looks
It's a
like
wave.
you're almost eye level with the
Yeah,
water and a
right.
wave about ready to crest right on top of you.
It's like a fish's view. And
Yeah.
it's really an interesting perspective.
And it has a very dramatic action in there where where the way the movement of the picture, it's
Yeah,
really
with a
neat.
canoe
it's
in the
two-
background, which looks like it's about,
Yeah.
5
Could it be two
inches.
pictures superimposed?
No,
on it?
it's her water camera, it's her underwater
Okay.
camera.
Well, and you even see the gravel and the stone
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the bottom of the water there. So that's, wow.
Yeah,
You know,
it's a well.
yeah.
It's really unusual, very, very unusual.
And she's going to be at the
She's at Portage Hill Gallery also with
Okay.
me,
All right. I don't know, we must have more, I think.
and she's all photography. There are a couple more.
Oh.
Catherine Galbraith, she and her husband own the Station Gallery, which is the train depot in Westfield.
Yes, I would just drop by there just to see what was going on.
Ah, yeah, it's a beautiful space, and they also use it for weddings and different venues and parties. She's an oil painter. She's been given all sorts of different awards for she's a member of the Oil Painter Society of America, and this is one of her. She's specifically in oil of a rural view of a barn. It's really lovely.
It looks,
She's a portraitist. She's a landscape painter, artist. She's exquisite. Just beautiful detail and softened edges. And
One of the things I wanted to add is all the artists that you are seeing and hearing us talk about will be part of a permanent artist directory. So the brochure that we showed you earlier that had the map, all the artists that are listed there will, this contains the contact information so that you can call them anytime, not just during Memorial Weekend, but anytime, and they will open their studio and galleries for you.
okay, let's get a little close-up on that one.
so while during the trail, this is the brochure to get to the studios.
So don't throw it away.
So don't keep it because it's year-long. Turn it over. And here it's the art directory. So it's a full year-round art directory. Most of the studios are by appointment only, but there's telephone numbers and emails for contact to reach out to them. If you can't make it Memorial Day weekend, they can still be reached. So
Super.
yeah, it's a nice experience if you want to visit them back, if you want to think about the works, to purchase, to really come back and
Okay.
meet with them again.
We have one more shot, and then we got to wrap things up here. So
Holy
what do we have
moly.
here?
Oh, Tom Manier, he's a Fredonia artist. He's a plein air painter, mostly in oils. And he, like myself, takes all sorts of wonderful trips around the U.S. This is one of the national parks. He has an entire body of work dedicated to the national parks.
And it's a mountain scene, could
Yep.
be the Rockies.
Yeah,
with
I'm not sure what that is in particular,
That's
but I'm pretty sure it
spectacular.
is.
All right.
And he's
So-
in Fredonia too.
All right, and we've got like a half a minute left. So Nancy, last thoughts, and then we'll go to Marcia.
Come out and see us. It's really wonderful to be able to get to meet the artist and see why they create what they do and see the processes and techniques to get them to this point. Part of this is also supporting public art is huge. Not just the big box stores, but go and buy your art
Locally.
through an artist and locally.
And Marcia Merrins?
Well, we're going to be open from 10 to 5, May 26th and 27th. And we'll have our studios open, and if you want more information, go to northshoreartsalliance.com and you'll find out more about the artists, a closer view of the map, and we hope to see you then.
All right. Ladies, thank you for joining me today. I'm Doc Hamels. My guests have been Nancy Nixon Ensign and Marcia Merrins, and we've been talking about the art trail and all the things that are artistic in Chautauqua County. We're going to do this all again next week, so stay tuned. Remember, we're at 1301, not 5 anymore. Have a great weekend. Hopefully you can get that long. Take care now. We'll see you.
Yes, da-da-da.